What's up, guys? Welcome back to another fun-filled episode of Driving Home with Jared Crocker. I'll be your host today. Got a whole load of wood back here. I underestimated how much wood it was actually going to take to frame up the walls on the interior of my house. I think initially I bought, I want to say 35 2x4s, and some of them weren't the straightest when we got them. That's just what happens when you get wood delivered to your house. You don't always get the best supply that they have to offer. Overall, I will say most of the stuff was legit, real good. There was just a couple of 2x4s that were bent, which I'm glad it was the cheaper end boards that were, but yeah, I completely underestimated how much wood it was going to take, and that's why I'm in the truck again with the truckload of 30 more 2x4s. Luckily, they're cheap. I use my my Lowe's card that I have, and I think for 30 2x4s, it was about $89, something like that. So right at about $3 a board with the discount from the card. I believe I get 5% off, and then discounts on delivery as well with it. So typically I would just get everything delivered out to the house, but this wasn't that big of a load, and just figured I could run into town real quick, grab it, and then get back, and we can go ahead and finish knocking out these interior walls. It's definitely starting to come together. We only had the two walls up so far that divide the living space from, or the living room and kitchen from the bedroom and bathroom. We have those two walls up, which gives you a good understanding of how big the living room is and how big the kitchen's going to be. To me, having those walls up, I can physically see how much room I have, and I'm pretty excited with the decision I made to go smaller on the living room or my bedroom and my bathroom to get more space in the living room and kitchen. And the way we have the kitchen, it's as soon as you walk in, there's going to be I believe a 10-foot wall just to your right. The door will open up to cover 3 foot of that, so you'll have another additional, I don't know, maybe 7 feet, maybe a little less than 10 feet total. But as soon as you walk in, you're instantly going to see the kitchen across the house. Plenty of open space in the living room. Like I said, we were looking over there, and it's a pretty good size based off the way we did the kitchen, how the kitchen's kind of inset a little bit. It'll just make more room overall, and it makes more sense now that I see the walls going up, and I'm sure once you guys see the walls, it'll start making more sense of what's in our head, what we're coming up with. I will say this: we did basically install the walls, or built the walls kind of like we did on the outer walls. We went ahead and bolted down the bottom plates. It's just easier for us to do that. A lot of these sections that we're working with on the interior are there's 2 long walls, and the rest of it are just short little sections. I'm saying like maybe 6 feet or less. A lot of them are about 4-foot sections. So we went ahead and put the bottom plate down, anchored that down to the foundation, and then we're just going to build up kind of like we did on the outer walls. And it's just the way we're doing it. It's going to make it easier for us, and yeah, whatever works for us, that's all that matters. And there's always a million ways you can do things, and this is just the way we're doing it. And if we're happy with the outcome, then like I said, that's all that matters. Let me get over. There's a cop right here on this corner. Always move over, guys. Kind of a weird spot for him to be sitting right there, but it's Sheriff's Department, so that don't surprise me. Which one is it? I think it was a younger guy. I believe it's the guy that works at the school, one of the resource officers. But yeah, that's what we're getting into. And like I said, y'all see that tomorrow. It has rained quite a bit off and on the past week, so the ground is still very, very mushy out there, and I'm very grateful that I decided to go ahead and plant in that ryegrass all around the house. I don't know how long that grass will stay around, but it should give enough time for the Bermuda and all that stuff to grow in and take over the rest of that. Is this another cop right here? My goodness. Move over again. There's a state trooper now. I guess they're in good spots with all the construction around here. The speed limit goes from like 45 up to 60 and then 70 and back down to 45, and they're just popping people left and right coming through here, not paying attention to all the street signs. But completely forgot what we were talking about. Oh, the dirt and grass and stuff. I am glad that it was growing in, so it's not such a mud pit out there. Don't get me wrong, when you're walking around, you start sinking in the grass a little bit around the foundation, since it is still newer, fresh dirt that hasn't been packed in completely. So it is looking good out there. And then we have the goats out there once again in the pond eating everything down. I spent, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes to an hour yesterday letting the dogs go out and swim in the pond. I'm in for some trouble when it comes to my house, because my dogs are going to be inside and outside dogs. Baxter has been staying in the house at mom and dad's. The other two dogs stay outside, but they when they're on my property and the house is built, they will be inside outside dogs, and they're probably going to be staying outside a lot more because they're going to be soaked all the time. You can't keep those dogs out of the pond. It hasn't been very cold down here. We do live in South Texas, so it doesn't get cold too often, and it looks like the 10-day forecast looks like we're going to be in the 60s for the most part as highs, and in the low to mid 40s as a low. So perfect weather for building. Dad and I aren't complaining whatsoever. This beats building in 120 degrees any day inside that shed house that we were doing this summer. So the dogs are definitely enjoying getting out in that pond. They know now that they can cross the entire pond without really having to swim. Tucker can walk across the whole pond fine. Daisy has to swim just a couple of little spots because she's shorter. But there's a little bird called a kildee, and they're just little birds that always stay around ponds and stuff. And Tucker and Daisy were chasing that thing for like an hour yesterday, just going across the pond back and forth. And I don't know, I had a fun time watching them. They were just having a blast splashing out there. And then Bama and Tex, mom and dad's dogs, were doing the same. They like water, but not nearly as much as Tucker and Daisy. Those dogs, man, it's gonna be a hell of a time trying to keep my house clean. And then I have that little pond in my front yard, or puddle, whatever people want to call it. That's a little bit deeper than the other pond right now. So if they really want to swim, they could just go in there and go swimming and stuff and cool off. So got another state trooper up here. We're gonna see how many we can come across before we get home. That's already gonna be the third one in 4-mile stretch, and there's 2 of them. It's one place you don't want to do anything bad around, because they will pop you. So anyways, that's what my life is. Just trying to relax, have fun, and get this house built in the process. I did go ahead and I was going to wait till the springtime, but I kind of jumped the gun. I cut some more willow cuttings, and I planted them between my property and the neighbor's property. I'm very well aware that, because every time I mention willows, people always say something about your sewer lines, that they're going to get in your pipes and stuff. But where this is at, there's nothing right there next to it. So it would just be a nice little privacy wall between us, and give them a little more privacy on their end. And then all the trees we planted around the pond are doing excellent as well. All the cuttings that I planted in, they're all shooting up stuff about that big now. So yeah, hopefully the weather kind of stays as is. If it does, we'll have a very, very, very mild winter, and basically it feels like springtime, so all the plants and stuff will thrive, unless we get that one-off crazy time where it just gets real cold and then just kills everything. So who knows? We'll find out when that happens. So anyways, that's going to be today's video. I got to get back. We're going to go ahead and finish off these walls, and then like I said, we got some football to watch later. Cowboys versus the Commanders, because the other word they used was races for some reason. And then Dolphins play the Bills, so that'll be a real good game there too. So anyways, root for the Cowboys. We're going to make it to the Super Bowl. All the haters can kick rocks. So anyways, appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Bye, guys.